So if you've been following my videos, you saw that last week I went to the Arnold Expo. It's essentially a bodybuilding expo where just a bunch of, there was a bunch of like young LA influencers. There's a bunch of just kiosks filled with like, protein shake stuff, protein supplements, lifting supplements, bodybuilding supplements, essentially, right? I thought it would be a good place to run into other people that are interested in, creating fitness content, creating things like that. And that's precisely who I came across, right? So the Young LA booth was there, which had all the Young LA athletes. They just flown in from the US, probably in Los Angeles, and they were in London for the bodybuilding expo. So I went to this bodybuilding expo alone. I just figured, it'd be better to go alone because it would kind of force me to socialize with people. I started chopping it up with just people who had cameras and stuff like that. I got in contact with some videographers, photographers, just other people trying to make fitness content, making connections, because you know how important that is. And then eventually I made my way around to the Young LA booth where the Young LA, members were. So this was like, Brody Shreds, Faith Ordway, to name a few. Those are the people you probably know most of. Alex Eubank was there. I talked to him. Basically just chopped it up with him about, his commitment to his faith and both things like that. I was just like, some of the stuff he's speaking is very, wise and stuff like that. And to be honest, he seemed kind of robotic. I don't know. He wasn't the most sociable. I didn't get the most sociable vibe out of him, or maybe he just thought I was a weirdo. Who knows? Maybe we both thought each other was a weirdo, but whatever. Yeah, I chopped it up with, Faith Ordway. She said, I was like, what's it like, being a fitness influencer? She's like, I just kind of do what I do, which is very true for her, because if you've seen her like Snapchats, I'm not on Snapchat anymore, but about a couple of months ago when I was, she would just like post everything she's doing daily, and she's very pretty, and so people would just kind of eat that up. But then I talked to this guy named, I think it's Judea, and he helped actually make the Young LA brand. And he was a super cool dude. He just talked about he talked about the importance of failing quickly too. He mentioned some legal issues he'd gotten into the past, and how it helped him prevail to be where he is now. And then I talked to this guy named Brandon, right? So I coached him, and he's like, I was like, I just talked to your buddy like Jediah, and he was just like, you and him helped make the Young LA brand become what it is today, right? So I just started talking to him about like business and stuff like that, because I run a business back home. I'm in the UK right now, but I own a lawn business back home in the US. And so I started talking to them about just being like an influencer, what it takes. I essentially asked them all the same question, because if these people are in the exact position that you want to be in, you're going to ask them questions on what they did. And most of them said the same thing, which was to be creative, be consistent, and then to just do what you love. But something that Brandon told me that has stuck with me these past couple of days is to focus on my strengths, right? So I know a lot about financial education. I'm very financially educated, and I'm into fitness, right? I don't really know anyone else who's more into fitness than myself, besides like Brandon, the Young LA dudes, I guess. Not that I really know them that well, but we basically just said focus on your strengths, and then those will allow you to rise up against the others in the content of the fitness and influencer space, because it's that unique set of principles and unique set of attributes that you have to your character, which will allow you to kind of niche down and be unique in your own way. So again, I've heard this from Brandon, I heard it from Mohib Shiraz, and I've heard it from Faith Ordway. I think Alex Eubank might have even said the same thing as well, but to be yourself and to be creative and consistent. But yeah, later I was talking to Brody Shreds. I'm sure you've seen his videos. They're, you know, funny fitness skits, things like that. And, you know, I planned my bus ride there and back to be like the full length of the event, right? And so, I was basically stuck there, right? So I was just seated on like a potted fake plant that the Young LA booth had. And this was kind of where all the other Young LA members were just kind of just hanging out. So I'm like, I might as well, you know, it was just a place to lean against. And I also could be, you know, in a good area with these other people. Maybe I could absorb some of their auras or some fucking dumb shit like that. And Brody Shreds like sat next to me, and I was just like, you know, I was just talking to him like, you know, a human, which is a huge thing with not only networking, but just people in general, is not to idolize people in any way, because, you know, there's just a person like anyone else. But anyways, I started talking to him. I was like, man, because I already talked to him earlier, just being like, oh, like your content is great. You know, I just told him, you know, to keep it up and stuff like that, because it's inspirational to someone like me to watch content like that blow up. And, you know, he's just doing what he loves. And, you know, he's like, he handed me a Young LA keychain. He's like, you want this? I was like, sure, bro. And he told me, he was like, well, man, if you're stuck here for, you know, 6 hours, you might as well make the most of it and meet everyone. So, you know, I wandered around a little bit, and there was this competition where you could hang on a bar. So you hang on it for the longest. Whoever hangs on it the longest gets a gift card, right? So, you know me, I hung on it the longest compared to everyone else, because I'm just like that. And I got a gift card, right? So I was like, shit, what can I do with this gift card? Because I wasn't able to use it at the store there. I found that out later. But I was just like, I already bought a compression shirt. I don't really need it. So I was just like, oh shit, I could, you know, ask a follower to slide up, and I'd bring them something back when I was in the US, right? So my boy Nano slides up. He's like, oh, get this, right? And then I go to get his hat, and, you know, they're like, oh, you can't use this, and you can't use a Young LA gift card in the Young LA pop-up shop. It was at the expo, which I was like, okay, that's all right. That's fucking dumb. But anyways, but I go up to Brandon, and we had chopped it up earlier. You know, we just had a good ass conversation. I was like, yo, bro, could you help me out? You know, I'm trying to because I was going to make a TikTok out of it. I was going to buy a hat, get it signed by all the Young LA members, and then give it back to him when I get to the US. So I was going to make a TikTok out of that. So I'm just like, yo, could you help me out? And he just goes into the back, you know, grabs me a hat. He's like, yeah, it's nothing, bro. Like, don't worry about it. And this essentially, you know, allowed me to go around to all these people, getting my hat signed by like all of them, and posting that TikTok. It didn't do well or anything, but it's still like an awesome video, so I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I mean, basically the lesson that I took away from all this was, one, to force yourself to go out there and talk, because, you know, even when I first got there, I was like not wanting to talk to the Young LA members, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, oh, there's some type of way. Like, I've known Alex Eubank forever, but I didn't really know of many of the other Young LA members, just because I'm not very active on social media. You know, I'm the one producing the content, not consuming it, so I don't really know shit about anything that goes on in social media, to be honest. And so, you know, that was what allowed me to approach these people with, you know, a humanoid kind of mindset, just being like, oh, you're a person, I'm a person, you know, you're a member of this big brand, like, oh, it's sick. So, yeah, I mean, essentially just, I think the lesson that I learned from it was, one, don't be a pussy, just approach these people like they're people, and, you know, ask them questions and stuff. But two, and this was a huge thing that I learned from like Brody, is just to take advantage of the time that you have. And I kind of learned that, you know, instead of literally sitting down and bitching and doing nothing, like, get up and take advantage of these opportunities. And Brody telling me that, it made me kind of think about it. And I was just like, damn, like, you know, we all know that the reasons why these people are successful is because, you know, they go out there and they're go-getters, right? But that piece of advice that he gave me allowed me to, you know, meet all these great people from young LA, get more perspective onto, you know, what is possible, you know, where my future is going. If I should try to pursue the influencer route a lot more and things like that. And I guess the message that I take away from all this is don't be a pussy, take advantage of opportunities, and don't waste time, because there's shit you got to do. Yeah, boys, that was it for the first bro talk, and I don't even know how long. But yeah, much love. Show me some love in the comments. Subscribe if you could, and peep my reels, my Instagram reels, because I'm posting every day until I'm lean. I'm going on a cut right now, so yeah, just follow up on that and show some love. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and yeah, don't be a pussy.